What is up, you guys? Hef's here, and I am not dead, I'm just lazy. I haven't built in a hot minute, so you're gonna see that in the upcoming video. But I just want to give out a quick announcement. One, I likely won't be doing any more build tutorials. Honestly, I don't like doing them. I'll be shooting out one more because I already have it pre-made, but beyond that, I likely won't be doing any more building tutorials. Also, if you like this video, please leave a like, a comment, and let me know if you want to see more of it, because honestly, I enjoyed doing this. In any case, let's get to the video. See you in a minute. Welcome back, and as you know, based on the singular title of this video, all of these houses follow the same style of rustic house. The only difference is the time limit. It's a challenge video. I wanted to do something like this because honestly, I don't like making build tutorial videos, and I've been wanting to try something else out. I've been gone for a while, mostly because I haven't been willing to make content and I haven't had the chance to do such. I only recently had the ability to make more content, ergo this one. Now why am I not commentating on the actual build? Well, that's because it's a very ugly house. Now, I haven't built in about 2 months, mostly because I just haven't gotten around to it, haven't cared to do it. I've just been playing mini games on Hypixel, Mineplex every once in a while, so no real building. But I kind of forgot what 5 minutes was like. As you can see from this poorly executed house, I messed up on the platform right there. I should have made it a block higher. And then on the actual build out for the house, for where the beams are, I also messed that up. So all in all, it was too big and it didn't work. It just looks very awkward because normally, when I go into these things, I make a plan and then I start building. That was not the case for this one. This one, I just started building, but I didn't think, oh man, I have 5 minutes, I should make something small and actually doable. Instead, I said, I have 5 minutes, let's become the Flash. And it didn't work out so great. Instead, we have a very broken up cottage. For the roof, I wasn't really sure what to do when I was actually building this, so I just decided, let's go with something kind of rounded. And then looky there, I didn't line up the actual columns, so then I would have had a janky looking thing. Oh, this build is awful. It's so terrible, just so terrible. But you know, after I built this one, I got more into the feel of how long it would take. Here's a go around. All we have are walls, a platform, and a couple of arches. I mean, it's really just not very good. Next up, we have the same thing going, where we build up on 3 blocks, because I really wanted to stick with that rustic platform that I do for almost all of my rustic houses. But the difference here is that I kept it on that 1 block for the platform, which I didn't do before, which made it very awkward to look at. Plus, I made it the proper size, which is very important, and I didn't do for the last one, but I did for this one, so I'm actually able to finish it, which I'm sure you saw from the thumbnail. It's a pretty nice house. I mean, all things considered, for 15 minutes and unlimited resources, is not bad. I will say that it looks a little weird, and it follows about the same kind of look as the previous one, but that's also what I wanted. I wanted it to feel like it was the same house, just done with more time. But obviously, if you stick to the same house with just more time, you're just going to end up with a more detailed house, not with a newer, fancier version. So instead of sticking with the same kind of, how do I put this, dimensions, I decided to just kind of shimmy my way around that, while still keeping within the 16 by 16, which is how big that little barrier of glazed terracotta is. Also, for the roof, I didn't finish on the last one, but if I had, it would have been a rounded roof instead of this kind of sloping thing. But I really like the slope I did here. It's a lot like on my other builds, which if you go check those out, the barn and the little rustic house that's made out of birch and spruce, those have a similar roof style to this one, which is very cool. But for this one, I really kind of, just kind of shoved a bunch of things on it because I was really rushed for time. 15 minutes sounds like a lot, but it really isn't when you get down to it. Because this roof right here, to make it this detailed, took up at least 3-4 minutes. Guaranteed. But it also really looks really nice, so it's kind of worth it. Then out front, we have ourselves a little spot that I'm going to put a porch in just a second here. But for right now, I was working with the doors. Man, the doors. I, for the life of me, could not remember how I did them. Like, see that right there? Because it's been a while since I've built. I just could not remember how in the heck you put a little archway over the door. It finally came to me. I popped in most all of the doors on all of these builds, just because it's a really cool standard design. Then here over to the right, you got myself a fancy little farm. I thought it was cool. I've used that little spire thing already. I've used it before on a kind of modern rustic house, which you can check out on my Reddit, link down below if you actually want to see it. It's not the coolest, but it's very interesting. I've never seen another rustic modern house. Feel free to build one. I'd love to see it if you guys actually go out of your way to build a modern rustic house. That would be really cool. But back to what this build is, just sticking with rustic houses. You know, you got your stone, you got your wood, you got your lanterns or torches, whatever the heck you use, you know? Then, as I continued to build, I noticed something very strange. It was that there was no deviation of color. That is a big problem, because if you look at it now, it's just a husk of stone and wood. It's a real setback. Plus, do you see me pause there for a little while? Yeah, that happens a lot. You don't know what I was doing? I was trying to remember the name of blocks. I couldn't remember what seeds were called, and it couldn't come to me what the tall little bushes, the tall trees right there were called. So when I was looking them up, I just looked up tall. Real genius, I know. Then the bush there, same bushes I always use. Just a couple of tall flowers and some leaves. Really cool, real simple design. Feel free to steal it. And for the pathway, same pathway I always use. You've got your horse dirt, your granite, and your little shoveled grass. That's why I'm stopped right there. All that stopping right there was me attempting to find the shoveled dirt. Then I realized I'll just get a shovel. It'll save me 101 hours, right? Boom. And as for the last little tiddly bits on this, just a couple of detailings with your fences, and finally, the brick chimney. Now, I was building next to somebody, and they pointed out to me that that chimney, it looked like I just kind of last minute shoved it in there, just to fill up some time because I couldn't think of what else to add in, and they were entirely right. I'm like, man, it must be a mind reader, because that's exactly what happened. Then I ran out of time to put smoke in. So here's the go around. You got yourself nice window seals, a couple of arches, some nice detailing in the front. 15-minute house. There you go. Alright, moving on to the big boy, the 30-minute house. Now all of these are done within the set time limits. I did time them on the actual timers, and I used Google. I gave myself an extra 5 seconds just to start up the game, get all the stuff going. So none of that was used to build. But this is my 30-minute house. It's following the exact same styles as before. You've got spruce logs, birch, and stone. And I wanted to shove that chimney in, but I didn't have the chance. Purely because of time. Like, I just wasn't watching the clock, and I ran out of time before I could pop myself a chimney in. But as far as the 30-minute house goes, I'm actually very proud of how it turned out, you know? Because I went into this not having any plans whatsoever. So, as you can see right there, I just kind of forgot what I did, so I had to just keep going back over, double checking things. Then I decided, okay, let's just raise up all the columns, and then as we raise up the columns, we'll build in our floors, just as we go, right? Then here, you see me fill in a little outside with birch, just to keep things really nice and neat. Then on the wall, ooh, this is a cool trick that you can use yourself. You can use it on these type of challenge builds, so I hope some of you will take up this challenge. If you don't, that's fine too, but make sure that when you're filling in the wall to put in another roof, you have the wall flush with the pillars instead of one block back. This is so you can put a block against the wall like I did there without having it look awkward or having that extra space. Then as far as the roofs are concerned, I use two types. This first one right here, which I use on pretty much everything because it's a really cool, simple, detailed roof. Nothing too special about it. You've got your spruce, dark oak, and your trapdoors to create a bit of definition. Then you go on the bottom with your half slabs, which will, all of that roof will be featured in the rustic house, which will be coming out after this one later tomorrow or later today. Then, as you continue, you see me go back, and I have to fix that little part right there, because when I built the floor in, I didn't realize that it was a 2-block gap. right? So you see right there, if you look at it, it's uneven, but I didn't want that there, so I had to go through and figure out a little method with the trapdoors and slabs. Personally, I think it's pretty ingenious. Feel free to steal it. Just put slabs on the right and the left, and trapdoors in the middle. It's a nice way to cover up those messed up spots while still having a nice thin one. As long as you just glance at it, it looks really nice, but if you try to line it up, like on the bottom there, then it gets all janky. Then for this roof, oh man, this roof, I went way too complicated with it. This is where I wasted the most time, because I wanted to have a nice kind of bent, sloped roof without having that usual kind of Viking style, which you'll see on a lot of medieval houses. I want to have more of a slope to it, like I did here, which, you know, it went pretty fast, right? You know, pretty easy, not too difficult. Then it came to copying it to the other side. Now that, ooh, even with World Edit, which I allowed myself to use, it was, a big deal and a half. Like, I should have just off the top here, instead of trying to copy it, because I'm not that good, apparently. Who'd have thought, am I right? I messed this up 3 times though. That's my 3rd attempt, mess it up, and I just had to go back to it one more time. If I'd just copied it and pasted it over there, I'd have been done. Like that. Saved me at least 3-4 minutes. I could have finished the rest of the house, which I'm still a little annoyed about. But I'll likely be doing this again with a completely different thing. Whether that be a windmill or a different category, because I actually really like this. Then continuing on, I went on to just, you know, copy and paste it over like I should have done in the first place. It would have saved me so much time, effort, and headaches. Then I attempted to do the same thing with my Genius and copy and paste that over to this side. You know what happened? The entire wall got smushed together because I didn't take into account that I should flip it. I just said, oh, let's just copy and rotate it, and that did not work out. So if I just had that thought a while ago, it would have saved me some time, but it wasn't very difficult to rebuild the wall over here. Then continuing on with that little style where I kind of went sloped over it, I wanted to keep it half a slab down like I'd done for the rest of it. But the dilemma with that was probably kind of the way it looked. Like if you see right here, it kind of went in like that, so I had to go back, do some more editing to it, then it had the right look. I will say that if you want to do this kind of roof, get World Edit. And if you can't get World Edit, then good luck, because it is a pain in the half. Now, when I was actually putting in these walls, I kept coming across the problem that I was building into the roof, so I used the logs to actually fill up the space, which is pretty ingenious, and I feel that if you try to do something like this, just try to think of ways around doing it properly, because if you try to do everything properly, you'll wind up wasting tons and tons of time. Like you see there, some of that is part of the roof, but because you can't see it from the bottom, it's perfectly fine. Like, make sure you use every cheat available to you. Next up, your wall, actually, your wall over here. I thought this would be really cool, just to have another little garden out front, take up some space without having anything too special. Now this wall took me longer than it should have, because I wanted to get the detailing right so that you could actually see over it without having to be too tall. Then on the left here, I wanted to have like a little sign, but I realized that I was going to be going over with the sign, which I wound up doing anyways. I wound up going over the boundary, and I thought I was being real sneaky and cheaty about it by being able to keep it within the boundary, but no siree. Look, so right there, it's still in the boundary, and we're over. And I thought I was being the next Tom Cruise, just keeping it nice and hidden, but no. Then for the windows, I completely forgot to do the top windows. The only top windows that were done were that front one right there, and I think the side one beyond that, none of them. Just didn't get any of them in. Then here on the far left, over there by the fences, I last minute threw that in. I meant to throw in a lantern to light it up some more, reusing the same pathway, and then tossing in our signature lanterns. Feel free to copy this. It is the coolest thing ever. I use it in every single one of the tutorials that I've already done. It's a really fun and dumb design. It just quick, easy, and it creates a nice aesthetic and cosmetic look for your lanterns and lighting, making your life a million times easier. Next up for the farm, I kind of hid some of the water underneath the building, which I haven't done any interior, but if I'd done interior for this, that water would have been able to stay there, just because it's actually part of the house. In any case, this was my 30-minute house, my 15-minute house, and the 5-minute house. All things considered, I'm very proud of the 30-minute one. The 15-minute one's pretty nice, and the 5-minute one is a complete failure. Anyways, tune in tomorrow, actually. Wonderful, am I right, guys? Got those daily uploads, or maybe every other day, we'll see. It's whatever works itself out. In any case, see ya. Have a good one.